work. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and as always, leave a comment, and thank you for enjoying the video.
Shot to right, slicing toward the pesky pole down the line. It's going to be out of here. Line down the right field line toward the pesky pole. Leaping up, and that ball is gone. That's a home run. A lot of our Nesson team as well. High fly down the right field line, headed toward the pesky pole. That one tucked in, and that ball is going to be against the wall and into second base. Number retired, and now Rafael Devers trying to retire that baseball inside the pesky pole.
Welcome to another episode of the Pesky Podcast. I'm your host, the Ritt. With me, Major League Baseball, the Red Sox, they're allowed to sit there and dip into the minor league systems. So tonight, I had to dip into our minor league system from BSEN. You might know Noah from Inside the Sox podcast. Noah, man, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. As you said, Major League's here, so get the bump up. I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here.
Yeah. So, Noah, man, the Red Sox, they seem there and seem to be keep going and going and going. And I kind of pinpointed it to the Philadelphia Phillies series when they came back. They were down by 4 or 5 runs. They came back, and now they're just on a complete tear. Noah, what are your thoughts on, we took 2 out of 3 from Philly, 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. We swept Toronto, 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati, and then, we're playing Toronto again.
The Sox are hot, man. When this team is hot, and you've seen it, their one bad game in the past week was against Cincinnati in that series. When the Sox are hot, they look like they are one of the best teams in baseball. But on the flip side of that game against Cincinnati the other night, when they're not playing good, they genuinely look like they're one of the worst teams in baseball. There's really no middle ground. Like, they went from looking like a World Series caliber team against Toronto in that series. In that first game against Cincinnati, they were playing Little League baseball. I think they about 4 errors in that game, sloppy throws from Valdez, sloppy throws from shortstop. But we're here to touch on the positive, and I think you look at that Phillies series, you look at that Yankee series, those were 2 of the best teams in baseball record-wise, and they took 4 of 6 from 2 of the best teams in baseball. The AL leader, the NL leader, you take 4 of 6. Toronto has given them trouble. I'm not exactly sure on the number, but I can guarantee you it's a losing record against Toronto over the past 2 or 3 years. That's a team that they've had no success against. Like that team beat them 21-5 on their home field. They've had no success against Toronto. To come out and sweep them, it's huge. So, but you're absolutely correct. You pinpointed back to that Philly series at Fenway a couple of weeks ago. They've been rolling ever since, and they genuinely look like a team that if they could get in the playoffs, they can make something happen.
Yeah. Look at our pitching staff. Led by our ace that's on the mound tonight, Tanner Houck, Houkamania. Then we got Cutter Crawford, who's starting to look like the Cutter Crawford that we knew in the beginning of the season. Pavetta is looking really good. Noah, what are your thoughts on Brian Bayo? Because Bayo seems like he's in his own head, and he kind of reminds me of Devers when he either strikes out or makes an error. You see him getting very frustrated and showing it in public.
The biggest issue with Bayo, I think, has been his command. When we see that Bayo's on, he's definitely one of the better, probably the best pitcher on the staff, right? Tanner Houck this year came out of nowhere. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I've made it very clear with the guys over on Inside the Sox. I was not a big believer on Tanner Houck. I never thought that Tanner Houck was going to be a starting pitcher. I always thought he was going to be a long reliever for this team, maybe fill in that closer role. But so he's completely proven me wrong on that aspect. But if you look at Bayo, it's been a difficult year, and it's definitely not something that you like to see, especially after just extending him. But the biggest issue with Bayo has been his command. I look at his numbers here. The ERA is definitely an eyesore. His FIP is a little lower than his ERA, which would prove maybe he's getting a little bit unlucky, but not too much. But the biggest number number I look at here is the home run ball. I mean, the entire staff has struggled with home runs this year. Carter Crawford can't really keep the ball in the yard. Even Bayo can't really keep the ball in the yard. But again, if you're a Red Sox fan, there's absolutely nothing to be concerned about. This guy is very young. This guy is struggling. He's had a couple bad starts here and there, but it's nothing worth giving up on him for. Like, I look at his stat line here. That last start against Toronto, he went 6 innings, which was almost the most he's gone since, I'm looking here, early April. He went 6 1/3 against Detroit back on June 2nd. But 2 walks, the least amount of walks he had since May 28th. So it's definitely a command thing with Bayo. But again, I stress it. Don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Bayo is a great pitcher. He's going to find it. Have confidence there.
Yeah. And then, you want to look at the other side. Let's talk base running. And it has been some time, Noah, since we can actually say we got speed and we're stealing bases by the buckets. You look at our lineup, and the way it's set up right now is absolutely amazing because they have Ceddanne Rafaela in the 9 spot. Then all of a sudden you got Jarren Duran leading it off. And then normally you have David Hamilton, who's moved up from the 8 spot to the 2 spot because he's just been consistently improving throughout the season. But since he's when he's not there, they got Romy Gonzalez batting second. So what are your thoughts on, actually seeing some significant speed coming from the Red Sox?
I will say it. I have not enjoyed watching a Red Sox team more than I've enjoyed watching this team at times in a very long time. And I think it's that running factor because not only are they running, they're still hitting home runs. Like, I think there was a game in that Toronto series that hit 5 or 6 home runs in a game. Like, Rafaela in that 9 hole with as hot as he's been, with as good as he's been swinging the bat, has practically been a second leadoff hitter for Boston. He's practically been a second leadoff hitter for them. Jarren Duran should be an all-star this year. And then you look at David Hamilton. David Hamilton has played, I'm looking at it right here, 25 less games than Jarren Duran, and he has more stolen bases. Hamilton's played 25 games less. He's stolen 21 bases in 53 games. That's a crazy number.
Yeah, looking at Hamilton.
Ellie De La Cruz enters baseball with like 36-ish stolen bases.
Yeah, last year David Hamilton scored 70 bases down in AAA. Like that's crazy numbers. And when I was there last year, I was talking to Tyler Murray, and him and I had a little a friendly wager, and I was like, who's faster, Jarren Duran or Hamilton? And watching him play live, going from first to third with ease, hitting a triple with ease. Like, David Hamilton has that speed where he can go 0 to 60 instantly.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the sprint speed number here on StatCast.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them really close to the top. Maybe I'm missing something here. Duran, Hamilton. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at it. There's David Hamilton. Hamilton is 42nd in baseball in sprint speed, 28.9, I believe that is, 28.9 feet a second. First place for comparisons, Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt, definitely the fastest player in baseball. But you look at David Hamilton. David Hamilton's home plate to first base time, 4.14 seconds. That's incredible. And then not just right behind him, Ceddanne Rafaela, 4.18 seconds. The same exact time, 28.9 feet a second. So we got guys that can run. Jarren Duran, what was it? The sac fly the other day. Maybe it was yesterday.
The game winner. That was 2 days ago.
The sac fly to left field. Pretty shallow. Yep. Not many guys on the team. Not many guys in baseball. Game winner, yeah. Not many guys in baseball score on that. And Jarren Duran scores on that. Quite convincingly, too. It was close-ish play, but there was no debate that he was safe. So I'll say it. I said it once. I'll say it again. I really enjoy watching these guys run. They made Jose Trevino look like the joke of baseball. They made Jose Trevino look like a fool the other night. And I'm having a lot of fun watching these guys run around the bases. And like I said, the power is still there. These guys are still hitting for power. Duran lately, I think he's Duran, Rafaela, Devers, O'Neill. These guys are hitting for power. Oh, and Tristan Casas is coming back soon. So they're a lot of fun right now, and they're young. It's not like these guys are old. They're one of the younger lineups in baseball.
Yeah, let's talk about Jarren Duran and his case for the All-Star game. There should not be any issue at all that Jarren Duran is an All-Star. He went from taking away a run the other game, and that catch was absolutely amazing. And he's just having the time of his life out there. He kind of reminds me, Noah, of Jacoby Ellsbury a little, where he's got speed, he's got power, he's got contact, and he's able to play a great defensive outfielder.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I think the updated voting came out today, and I think Duran was 18th in outfield voting in the American League All-Star race, behind guys like Evan Carter, who hasn't played, he's hurt, Kevin Kiermaier, who's hitting sub 200, Cedric Mullins, who's having a horrible year. Cedric Mullins hasn't been good since 2021 when he was an All-Star. Kevin Kiermaier plays good defense, but his bat has never really quite literally touched what Jarren Duran is hitting. And then I mentioned Evan Carter, who has been horrible this year. He gets on base, but I don't even think he's going to be back by the All-Star game. So the fact that all three of those guys, as little, and one of those guys is ahead of Jarren Duran in All-Star voting is a joke. It proves why fan voting is a joke. Jarren Duran has been the prototypical outfielder for the Red Sox this year. The Jacoby Ellsbury comparisons are very, very fair. I remember when Duran first came up a couple years ago, he made his debut against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. And for the first 2 years of this guy's career here, this guy was lost. He was a nightmare in the field. He couldn't track a baseball. And all it really was let's hope he gets on base so he can steal a base. Mm-hmm. He was hitting like sub 200, but then went down to AAA, was raking for about a month, called back up, fixed his stance, and here we have been since. Last year, I would argue that he was the brightest spot on this team last year before he went down towards the end with that foot injury. This guy, the last 2 years, he's been so exciting. He's improved so much. His bat is just, it's constantly improving. His bat this year is better than his bat was last year. Speed is still there, and his fielding is just so improved. This guy is a guy that needs to stick around for a while, and I'm getting off topic here, but he's an all-star. There's no debate about it.
No. Hey, you can sit there, and we can go down any rabbit hole you want, Noah. It's because a lot of stuff can happen. There was even the people on the Twitterverse that said that we should possibly trade Duran now because he is at his highest peak. But why would you do that? Like, if you're looking at our outfield, like, this is our outfield possibility for years to come. Duran, Ceddanne Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu. We even got George, who calls Refsnyder the best fourth outfielder in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, with Abreu coming back, it's going to cause trouble because I don't think we've really seen it yet. But, like, if Abreu's playing the outfield, Rafaela's got to get at bats. Valdez has to get at bats right now with how well he's swinging the bat. Hamilton's got to keep getting at bats. I think I said Refsnyder's got to get at bats. So who do you sit? But it's a good problem to have. Don't get me wrong. You have all these guys. Depth, having a lot of depth, having all these guys, it will never be a problem, and I will never complain about it. It's just all these guys need at bats. But I'll keep saying it. It's a good problem to have right now.
Yeah, and like you said, we're getting healthy.
Yes.
We just got Masataka Yoshida back. We're getting Tristan Casas back soon. Then, we got Vaughn Grissom, when he comes back. So what our lineup looks like now is getting close to what it needs to be. And Noah, how surprised are you overall of us being able to, with all the injuries we've had, stay at 500, in that wild card spot with the amount of injuries?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not alone when saying I picked us as a fan of the team. I picked us to finish last in the division at the beginning of the year. I didn't anticipate Toronto kind of being as bad as they've been this year. I think Yankees and Baltimore, obviously 1 and 2, whichever way you slice it there. On paper, I do think from the start of the year that we've had a better roster than Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay just usually always finds a way. But that's not the case this year. The Tampa Bay's having a really, really rough year. But I think you have to look at Toronto in the sense that they've been a wreck. Toronto's been a wreck this year. Vlad Jr.'s not hitting for power. Bichette's been hurt. Turner, he's starting to heat up. Like, Springer's been terrible. Alejandro Kirk has probably been one of the worst catchers in baseball this year. And then Kevin Gausman's been horrible pitching. They've just been a wreck. But I can sit here and I can tell you, I did not expect this team when Trevor Story went down, when Casas went down, when Grissom went back on the IL. I don't think he ever went back on the IL, but he was supposed to come back, and then he got sick and got delayed 2 weeks. I don't think there was a way that I could tell you that this team was going to be 42-36 in a playoff spot. I think Alex Cora deserves a lot of credit, and I would be shocked right now if he wasn't a lot of people's front runner to be manager of the year in the American League.
Well, Noah, when we were doing early predictions in spring training, I actually got laughed at by a lot of people when I picked the Red Sox to finish third in our division in a wild card spot. And here we are, injured, in third, getting that wild card spot. You know what I mean? So I just seen a lot of stuff, that could fall in place. My biggest thing was the pitching staff. That was my biggest worry because hitters are going to hit. So, Noah, I want to sit there and get your opinion on. Let's talk Devers real quick. How much has it improved his game going from the 2 spot to the 4 spot, and also seeing him being able to be more patient at the plate and also go opposite field?
I mean, you look at Rafael Devers, and in the past, obviously there have been the concerns about him, right? At first, maybe it was his defense, and you still see sometimes he's a little shaky in the field, but you're lying to yourself if you're saying that Devers has not improved defensively in the field. He's got his moments here and there, but Devers he is a capable third baseman, but we're talking at the plate right now. This guy is still young, right? He's been around forever, and maybe the casual fan will thinks he's older than he is, but he's still young and he's still improving and he's going opposite field. He came off. I don't think he was ever officially on the injured list. He missed like 10 days at a time. I think there was a point where he didn't play for like 10 games in a row, but they never put him on the IL. But ever since he's kind of come back from that injury, he's been a different player. He's hitting the ball. Sure, maybe his chase rate, high pitches in general, the high fastball. He loves the high fastball. He's improving. And Devers is going to be a guy that you stick at third base for years to come. And who knows, maybe down the line he is a designated hitter just because you need a place to put Marcelo Meyer. You need a place to put Nick York. Rafael and Hamilton obviously can still play the infield. So maybe when that happens, maybe he becomes a DH, not necessarily because he can't field, but just there's too many guys you got to get in the lineup. And again, it's never a bad thing, but I think a lot of people are happy with how Devers has been playing. Been in a bit of a slump here lately, but we've seen Rafael Devers in his career. He can break out of a slump probably better than almost anyone can in the league. This guy he's incredible.
Yeah, and then look at the hit streaks that are on this Red Sox team. Jarren Duran has a hit streak going. Connor Wong has a hit streak going. Tyler O'Neill has a hit streak going. Like, those are crazy that there's that many. And I want to say all three of them, correct me if I'm wrong, though, are double-digit hit streaks.
No, you're right. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I know Connor Wong's going to be out here for a few games. They just put him on the paternity list today. So congratulations to Connor. But casually, I think he's hitting like 350, something like that. Like, out of nowhere. I'll look it up real quick, but he's casually a 330 hitter for the Red Sox this year. And out of nowhere, like, I don't know about you, but I didn't see Connor Wong hitting 330 in the middle of June. I didn't see a world where that's happening. Duran, I think we were all excited about Duran. I think he's as excited as we were about Duran. I think he's blown our expectations completely out of the water. I'll reiterate it. This is not an old team. The oldest guy in the starting lineup is 30 years old, and I believe that's Yoshida. Maybe Reese McGuire's a little older than Yoshida when he plays, but like David Hamilton, 26 maybe. Rafaela, 23, 24. Duran, maybe he's 26. Devers, maybe he's 28, 29, if that. This team is going to be, and they're only going to be getting better with the prospects that they have coming up. This is a farm system, too, that's probably top 5 in baseball. So the hit streaks, the hit streaks are the hit streaks, but this isn't like fluky stuff either. You're seeing young players really, really break out and become really good Major League ball players.
Yeah. So let's talk All-Star game real quick, Noah. All-Star voting right now, who's going from the Red Sox in your heart? Who do you think is going to make the All-Star team?
As an unbiased fan, I think Devers deserves to be an All-Star. I think Jarren Duran deserves to be an All-Star. Tanner Houck probably should be in consideration to start the All-Star game. I think right now it's probably Tarek Skubal from Detroit, but I think there's a strong argument that Tanner Houck starts the All-Star game. So Devers, Duran, Houck, maybe Kenley Jansen. I know he started off a little shaky and that might hurt him. Maybe Kenley Jansen gets a nod. And then maybe Connor Wong gets a nod too, but I'm not too sure about him just because of how good Adley Rutschman's been and how good Salvador Perez has been. So maybe those are the two catchers that they take from the American League. But for sure, Houck, Devers, Duran deserve to be an All-Star. Maybe Connor Wong, maybe Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, I think that, as much as I would love to have Tanner Houck start the game, Skubal might be the only person from Detroit that gets the nod, for the All-Star. So, and he might get that, and unless he implodes from now till, the All-Star game in a couple weeks. I really think Tanner Houck, should, have the spot on the team. Devers, he's top 3, top 5, third baseman in every stat category. Duran, it's crazy, because he deserves to be on that team. Like, there's got to be a spot anywhere,
Yeah. You gotta get him on that team. And if you look at Tarek Skubal's last 2 starts, and I didn't realize this, Tanner Houck has a better ERA than Tarek Skubal this year. Skubal's had 2 pretty bad starts in a row. Just last Wednesday, the Braves lit him up. The Astros got to him. Their start before that. I'm anxious to see what the innings look like. So Tanner Houck has thrown 96 2/3 innings this year.
Mm-hmm.
Tarek Skubal's just only thrown 90. And Tarek Skubal's striking out about 9 more batters than Tanner Houck. But if you look at the numbers, and I didn't really realize this, they have the same whip. Their whip is 0.97 for Skubal, 0.97 for Houck. The only thing Skubal has Houck on is strikeouts. So, listen, if you are looking at that, if you're looking straight from the numbers, Tanner Houck deserves to be the starter for the American League in the All-Star game. Absolutely. But I think Tarek Skubal is going to get the nod.
Yeah, Houck, as much as I sit there and say that I don't want to sit there and say this because I love Tanner Houck, but I'm hoping and I kind of think he could be the Rick Porcello type where he has this one great year, possibility of a Cy Young, and then, go back to being Tanner Houck. Like, maybe back to reality with a, 3.75 ERA, maybe a 4, somewhere around then. But it's he's something to really enjoy and watch this season out there.
I really hope that's not the case but I'd be lying to myself if I didn't think it was a possibility, right? And I hope that Andrew Bailey unlocked something with him. And I hope that Andrew Bailey has found this Tanner Houck is what we're getting for the next 10 years. I can't sit here and tell you that that's going to be the case or that won't be the case, but watching the way Tanner Houck is pitching, and I think about it every day, and I'd be lying to you if I don't, what would it be like if we kept Chris Sale? What would Chris Sale under Andrew Bailey be like this year? Because we haven't seen Vaughn Grissom at all. Vaughn Grissom has not contributed to this team an ounce this year. But what would this team be like if Chris Sale was still on the roster and he had Andrew Bailey as the pitching coach? He's having a heck of a year with Atlanta. Just what Chris Sale would we get this year? I think about that all the time.
Yeah, that's a great question to sit there and ask. We definitely wouldn't be looking for our number 5 starter right now. They went and they had Cooper Criswell sent down. He can't come back up for a couple more days, so they had to dip in and bring up Winkowski, and he's probably going to get a spot start during this time that Coop's down there. So, but other than that, like, who do we have for the future? Like that's the key thing. Pivetta, this is his last year in his contract. We will have Giolito back next year. We'll have Bayo back, Houck, Whitlock.
Whitlock will be Whitlock. If Whitlock's going to start, Whitlock will be back.
So, and then Cutter Crawford. But, like, we need more pitching depth, starter-wise. And AAA, the Woo Sox do have some with Dickie Fitz, with Brandon Walter.
Chris Murphy will be back next year. He's hurt this year, but he'll be back next year.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of made him more of a reliever. But still, long relief guy. One arm that I'm definitely aware of that is a free agent after this year, I believe, is Corbin Burns with the Orioles.
Yeah.
I know he's a free agent after this year. I would imagine Baltimore is going to do everything they can to extend him. But that's certainly a name that I wouldn't complain if Corbin Burns is on the Red Sox next year. Burns is having a great year this year. 2.35 ERA, almost a sub-1 WHIP. It would be a perfect addition to that rotation if they're looking to spend money on starting next year.
Yeah. I'm going to sit there and be the realistic. We ain't spending no money anymore.
And I completely agree with you. We can dream about that. Corbin Burns ain't happening.
This Red Sox team, they spent money on Devers, and now they're giving him a great supporting cast around him. So that's all I have to say about that, because
we ain't signing Corbin Burns.
we ain't signing any big name free agents anymore. Those days of Red Sox Nation are gone. So, but let's sit there and switch it up a little bit. Noah and I, we don't really ever talk a lot of Woo Sox baseball on the Pesky Podcast, but you and I are going to have a great opportunity this week. We get to go to the Rail Riders Woo Sox game. We got press passes. I was there last year with DC. This year you get to sit there and come along with us. So, what are your thoughts? Some people that you're waiting and love to have some interaction with for this week.
Yeah, I've been to a couple Rail Riders games this year. It's not like I go every night. I went to a couple games when Jackson Holiday was in town just last week or 2 weeks ago. Norfolk was in town. Got to see Holiday play, Heston Kjerstad play. It was the first game of Jason Dominguez's rehab down there. But unfortunately, they just put him on the IL. He's going to be out for about 2 months. So Dominguez, unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing Jason Dominguez. But we're going to get to see the likes of Jamie Westbrook, Nick York, Chase Madroth. I believe that's how you say that. Maybe see Cooper Criswell start a game down there. Would make sense. But unfortunately, they just called up guys. And Cam Boozer is another guy that just got sent down. if we could talk to Cam Boozer about his story, about just the experience pitching in the major leagues, that would be great.
Yeah. The experience overall. Oh man, little late on this one. What's going on, Dennis? Man, from over there in Germany, he will be running the BSEN Patriots podcast, Destination
Ooh.
Foxborough. So make sure you guys check that out. It's coming out soon. Dennis, what's going on, man? Love to sit there and hear from you. But no, the experience is just absolutely amazing. From last year when Joe Bradley was on our podcast and he was the vice president of the Woo Sox, and he gave us the open door, and we got connections then with Adam, who is the person from the Rail Riders, and he helped us out. He helped us out again, this time. And it's just a great experience. It's a little bit different here than what our boys, Rob from Inside the Sox, when him and our boy Jut went up there, where you got to go into the locker room and stuff like that. We get on-field access, not the locker room, but it's, you still get the same interactions with these great players. So Noah, what are your expectations for the Woo Sox playing the Rail Riders this week coming up?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the International League standings in a little while, but I'm pretty sure that the Rail Riders are one of the better teams in the International League. I'm looking at it here. Second in the IL East, they're 43-31. Woo Sox are only 35-40, but you have to take that with a grain of salt, because for most of the year, half of the Woo Sox team has been in Boston. I mean, Bobby Dahlbeck, who in AAA, I know we talk about Bobby Dahlbeck, not a great major league hitter, but when Bobby Dahlbeck's in AAA, he's one of the better hitters on the Woo Sox. Emmanuel Valdez was in AAA, major leagues. David Hamilton, he's in the major leagues. It's just so a lot of the Woo Sox players, but what the Woo Sox have right now, you can look forward to Nick York, Medroff. I'm not going to pronounce that right at all, so I probably should figure that out before this week. Jamie Westbrook there. And then a couple pitchers. I think Criswell's there. Chase Shugart in the bullpen is maybe there. But it's going to be a great experience. I think the Rail Riders, obviously, again, they just lost Jason Dominguez, so maybe the Woo Sox will have a bit of a better time, but I can't really give you an accurate series prediction just because of how often things change in the minor leagues, how often guys are coming up, how often guys are going down. It's tough, but I'm looking forward to it, and I think it should be a pretty even series because when push comes to shove, it's a Red Sox team versus a Yankees team.
Absolutely. So, Noah, let's sit there and, I want to discuss with you. Let's do this on the air. I'm thinking Wednesday, that's usually when we do our next podcast. I'm thinking maybe you and I can go live while we're at the game, get some fan interactions.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, well, never done it before, but heck, let's give it a try.
First time for everything. First time for everything.
First time for everything. We can either go up in flames or we can sit there and look like diabolical geniuses. So
maybe we discover something.
Yeah. So check us out on Wednesday. Noah and I will sit there and we'll try to go live and see how things turn out. Where live you get some great coverage from the Rail Riders Woo Sox game. So, but Noah,
yeah, that would be great. I'm down for it. Absolutely.
So let's sit there and try and wrap this up. Red Sox are playing Toronto. We swept them last time. This is the Toronto Blue Jays, whose window is closing quicker than the cupboard when they see someone coming to get the cookies. So And they a couple years ago they were supposed to be on the rise. They went and got great pitchers that were just in that range. They had Vlad, they had Dante, they had Biggio, they had Springer. Now they are on the other side of the mountain, going down really quick. So Noah, what are your predictions for the Toronto series now that they are back in Fenway? Besides, I think Tyler O'Neill jacked the home run. I think I heard that. That's what I heard. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah. No?
No, still nothing.
Yeah, I'm looking right here. It's nothing. Houck, 2 clean innings. No hit from either team yet. Bassett's thrown 2 clean innings. Houck's thrown 2 clean innings. I think asking for another sweep would be a lot. So I would be content with 2 of 3. But then again, the Blue Jays have lost 6 in a row. They got swept by us, obviously, and then they went out and they got swept by Cleveland, very next series. So I think I said to my friend, who's also a Red Sox fan, I wouldn't be shocked if the Blue Jays go out and they fire John Schneider, their manager, before this series against us. They didn't, so maybe we'll go a little crazy with that prediction. But I think if we sweep Toronto here again, they're going to have to make some sort of change, right? I mean, their window went from, let's go win the World Series, let's sign Kevin Gausman, let's trade for Jose Barrios. And they traded 2 pretty good prospects for Barrios. I believe Austin Martin.
Mm-hmm.
They traded for Barrios and Simeon Woods Richardson. So an outfield prospect and a pitching prospect they traded for Jose Barrios. He's having a better year this year. It's just any move that they made hasn't worked out. George Springer has been awful. Alejandro Kirk has been awful. Vlad is not hitting for power. Bichette's been hurt. They DFA'd Biggio. Biggio, Guerrero, and Bichette were supposed to be the next big thing. That trio coming up was supposed to be what takes Toronto to that next level, and it just hasn't. And it's underwhelmed so much. I feel like Toronto's missed their window. It went from here last year and then just plummeted immediately. So I think asking for another sweep would be a lot. So I'm content with 2 of 3. But then again, they've lost 6 in a row. Let's go out and sweep.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Well, Noah, there's something you're going to learn from me, that I can't say sweep because bad things happen when I predict the sweep. So I will go.
Yeah.
I will go 2 out of 3. That we're going to take 2 out of 3 from them. Hopefully, Hal can keep on rolling and dominating through, like he has been. So, but Noah, let's sit there and give everybody some final thoughts. On anything that you want with Red Sox related.
Yeah. So if I had a final thought to tell you guys, this team is going to have their ups for the rest of the year. We're not quite halfway through. They're going to have their ups. They're going to have their downs. Guys are going to get hurt. It's going to happen. It's part of baseball. But I think what you're seeing right now is that the Red Sox are a good baseball team. This isn't some sort of fluke run. They're young guys. They're rapidly improving. I'm looking right now. Tanner Houck just got through a third. I'm not going to say that word because I would jinx it. But 3 hitless innings for Tanner Houck. Having a good start there. Basket going here. The Red Sox are going to be good. And do not be shocked if you see the Red Sox go out and towards the trade deadline, they make that trade, right? They make that trade. They're in contention. This is a playoff team right now. As crazy as that is to say, we're sitting here, we're talking to you right now. The Red Sox are in a playoff spot. I don't think that's going to change, and I think this Red Sox team is very, very good.
Yeah. So, guys, make sure you sit there and head on over to our YouTube at BSEN617. Follow us on YouTube. Head on over to our merchandise store. Don't listen to me. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to the man himself.
Hey, what's up? This is Jonathan Papelbon, 2007 World Champ with the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox all-time saves leader, 6-time All-Star, Red Sox Hall of Famer. And I just want to say go to the website, bses617.square.site. The Pesky Podcast, myself, we are giving away Halkomania t-shirts at 20% off, man. The charity, the Caritas Family Solution, it's going to that, so it's going to a great cause. So y'all go get your shirts. Get ready for Halkomania. Tanner Houck going to be an all-star this year. Maybe future Red Sox Hall of Famer like myself. So go get it, baby. Halkomania.
Can't say any better than having Papelbon say it for me, baby.
You heard him. You heard the man.
So, but guys, make sure you head on over, check out the merchandise. Like Pap said, 20% of the Hulkamania shirts, and 20% of the Cinco Ocho shirts for Papelbon. Both go to the Caritas Family Solutions, Tanner Houck's charity. So, but for Noah, for myself, till next time, thanks for stopping by the Pesky Podcast.